If you are preparing for a major IT certification in 2026, there is one type of question that quietly ends more exam attempts than any other. It's not the tricky multiple choice. It's not the long-winded scenario. It is the performance-based question, or as most candidates call it, the PBQ. And here is the uncomfortable truth. Most people walk into the exam room having never properly practiced one. In this video, I'll show you exactly what PBQs are, which exams use them, and the exact strategy I use to answer them under pressure. Stick with me to the end, because the final tip is the one that flips PBQs from your biggest fear into your fastest points on the paper. Let's get into it. So what actually is a performance-based question? A PBQ is an interactive question designed to test whether you can do the job, not just describe the job. Instead of picking A, B, C, or D, you are dropped into a simulated environment and asked to perform a task. Drag files into the right folder, configure a firewall rule, match log entries to attack types, fix a misconfigured switch port, label a network diagram, that kind of thing. Think of it like the difference between reading a recipe and actually cooking the meal. Multiple choice asks you to name the ingredients. A PBQ asks you to get in the kitchen. CompTIA made PBQs famous, but they are far from the only ones using them now. You will run into PBQs, or something close to them, on CompTIA Security Plus, CompTIA Network Plus, CompTIA A Plus, CYSA Plus, Pentest Plus, and CASP Plus. You'll see simulation-style questions on many Cisco exams, including CCNA and CCNP. Microsoft role-based exams like SC200, AZ500, and MS100 include lab-based tasks on some sittings. And CISSP uses a different but related beast called Advanced Innovative Items, which includes drag and drop and hotspot questions that behave like lightweight PBQs. So wherever you are on your certification journey, PBQs are probably coming for you. Let's take a breath and talk about why they matter so much. Here's the thing most candidates miss. PBQs are worth more marks per question than a standard multiple choice, sometimes significantly more. On CompTIA exams, a single PBQ can be worth the equivalent of 3 to 5 multiple choice questions. That means one bad PBQ can torpedo your score even if you ace everything else. And here's the second thing most candidates miss. PBQs usually sit at the start of the exam. CompTIA, for example, typically front-loads the PBQs in the first 10 or 15 minutes. This is a deliberate design choice, and it is a psychological trap. You walk in fresh, confident, ready to go, and the first screen hits you with a drag and drop on subnetting. Panic sets in. You lose the mental battle before you even see the multiple choice. Knowing this is half the fight. Let's talk about the other half, which is the strategy. So here is the core strategy I use for every PBQ on every exam. I call it the 5-step PBQ playbook. Simple name, but it works. Step 1. Skip first, solve later. When you hit your first PBQ, do not try to solve it immediately. Read the scenario, note what it is asking, and then flag it and move on. Yes, really, move past it. Go do the multiple choice first. Why? Because multiple choice questions warm up your brain, build your confidence, and crucially, some of them will actually give you hints and context that help you solve the PBQs when you come back. It happens more often than you'd think. You'll answer a multiple choice about port numbers, then return to a PBQ that asks you to build a firewall rule, and suddenly the answer is obvious. Let me say that again. Do the multiple choice first. Come back to the PBQs with a warmed-up brain and free information. Step 2. Read the full scenario twice. When you return to the PBQ, read the scenario once quickly, then once slowly. PBQ scenarios are dense. They hide constraints, requirements, and context in plain English. Miss a single sentence, and you'll get it wrong for the right reason, which is the most annoying way to lose marks. Look specifically for keywords. Is the question asking for the most secure option or the most cost-effective? Is there a constraint like without disrupting existing users? Is a specific compliance framework mentioned? These keywords are the difference between the right answer and a clever distractor. Step 3. Identify the task type. Most PBQs fall into one of 5 buckets. Once you know which bucket you are in, the approach becomes much clearer. The first type is configuration tasks. You are building or fixing a config, a firewall rule, an ACL, a network interface, a group policy. Treat these like a real engineering change. Start from the rule of least privilege, apply the minimum needed, and do not overthink. The second type is matching or classification. You drag items into categories, log types to attack types, tools to phases of the cyber kill chain, ports to protocols. The trap here is second guessing. Trust your first instinct, because matching questions reward preparation, not rumination. The third type is sequencing. You are ordering steps in a process, incident response phases, change management steps, forensic procedures. If you have memorized the standard frameworks, these are free marks. If you haven't, they are brutal. The fourth type is hotspot, also called point and click. You click on a specific part of a diagram or interface, identify the misconfigured setting, point to where an attacker would pivot. These are essentially visual multiple choice, so treat them the same way. And the fifth type is simulation, or lab-based. You are in a real-looking terminal or GUI, and must perform commands or clicks to complete an objective. These are the most intimidating, but often the most forgiving, because partial credit is usually awarded. So far so good. Let's keep moving. Step 4. Apply partial credit logic. This is the secret most candidates never learn. PBQs on major exams almost always award partial credit. That means even if you cannot complete the whole thing, doing the parts you do know will still earn you marks. Do not stare at a blank screen because step 4 stumps you. Do steps 1, 2, and 3. Guess 4 if you have to. Partial points are still points, and on a high-stakes exam, points are oxygen. Translate that into behavior. If a PBQ has 6 subtasks, and you only know 4 of them, complete the 4. Attempt the 5th with your best guess. Time box ruthlessly. Set a hard limit. I use 3 minutes for a standard PBQ, 5 minutes for a complex simulation. If I hit the limit and I'm not done, I do 2 things. First, I make sure I have not left any drop zone blank, because a blank answer almost certainly scores 0. Second, I flag and move on. A locked-in incomplete answer beats a perfect answer you never finished. Quick breather. That was dense. Let's take stock. You now know the 5 steps. Skip first. Read twice. Identify the type. Apply partial credit logic. And time box. That is the playbook. Now let's talk about the mistakes that kill otherwise well-prepared candidates. Mistake number 1. Trying to solve PBQs in order. I've said it, I'll say it again. The exam is not a story. You do not have to read it chronologically. Start with what you can bank, then return to the hard stuff. Mistake number 2. Not practicing PBQs before exam day. This one is criminal. Multiple choice you can practice with flashcards. PBQs you cannot. You need simulated PBQ environments that mimic the actual exam interface. Official practice tests, quality third-party platforms, and the practice labs on CertCrush.app are all built for this. Mistake number 3. Overthinking. PBQs on certification exams test job-ready competence, not guru-level edge case mastery. If your answer feels clever, you are probably wrong. If your answer feels basic and aligned with best practice, you are probably right. The exam writers are teaching you to be competent, not creative. Mistake number 4. Ignoring the interface. Some candidates waste minutes because they don't realize they can zoom, reset the question, use a calculator, or drag items back out of a drop zone. Spend 60 seconds at the start of the exam reading the interface instructions. That investment will pay back 10 times over. Mistake number 5. Panicking when you don't recognize the scenario. The scenario is flavor. The task is the task. Strip away the company names and the story, and ask yourself what technical action is actually being requested. 9 times out of 10, once you strip the flavor, you know the answer. Now let's talk about preparation. because strategy only works if the foundation is there. Preparation for PBQs looks different from preparation for multiple choice. You cannot read your way to passing them. You need hands-on reps. 3 things work, in order of impact. First, do actual labs. Stand up a home lab. Break things. Fix them. On Security Plus, that means building firewall rules in pfSense or Azure, running Wireshark captures, and looking at real log files. On Network Plus, that means subnetting by hand, configuring switches in Packet Tracer or GNS3, and actually looking at the OSI model in practice. Labs turn abstract knowledge into muscle memory, and muscle memory is what gets you through a simulation under time pressure. Second, drill with PBQ-specific practice questions. Multiple choice practice and PBQ practice are different sports. Use the official practice test from the vendor when available. CompTIA's CertMaster practice is good for this. Supplement with community-recommended platforms that include interactive PBQs, not just screenshots. Third, learn the frameworks and processes cold. Incident response phases, change management steps, risk treatment options, the cyber kill chain, the diamond model. These frameworks show up constantly in sequencing and matching PBQs, and if you have them memorized, these questions become free points. A quick reality check. The key takeaway is this. PBQs are not harder than multiple choice questions. They are just differently packaged. Practice the packaging. The one I promised at the start. The one that flips PBQs from your biggest fear into your highest scoring section. Here it is. Go in expecting to get at least one PBQ completely wrong, and it won't matter. The reason most candidates fail exams with PBQs is not because they got a PBQ wrong. It is because they got a PBQ wrong, then panicked, then got 3 easy multiple choice questions wrong after that because their head was somewhere else. Your strategy from the moment you sit down is this. Protect your mental state above all else. If a PBQ is kicking you, flag it, move on, and do not look back until the rest of the paper is done. You have permission, in advance, to not know one of them. That permission alone is worth more than most study guides. Pass the exam. Do not perfect the exam. That's the whole playbook. Skip, read twice, identify type, claim partial credit, time box, and protect your head. Do those 6 things, and PBQs become the easiest points on the paper instead of the hardest. If this was useful, hit subscribe. We publish exam strategy, study guides, and practice questions for pretty much every major IT cert on this channel. And for the PBQ practice itself, head to CertCrush.app. That's CertCrush.app. You'll find interactive labs, practice questions, and exam representative simulations for Security Plus, CISA Plus, CISSP, Network Plus, and more. All built to train the exact muscle you need for PBQ day.